Hey everybody, I'm Kerlunkus and welcome back to Haunted Gaming Revisited. This time, we're gonna do a creepypasta called Super Smash Bros. Melee Hhidaka. Now, a creepypasta about a fighting game seems pretty interesting. What are we gonna go through in this story? Well, let's find that out right now. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. You all know that game from the GameCube called Super Smash Bros. Melee, right? The fighting game with all the Nintendo characters like Mario, Fox, and Kirby. Well, you can find all the scripts, models, textures, and files in the game if you can access the files using a program. One script called char.txt contains all the variables and movesets for the in-game characters. Each character has a txt file that refers to their models too in a folder called char. In order to add my texture hacks, I needed to copy all the files to my computer. While copying, I noticed there were 26 items, but I was sure there were only 25 characters. To make sure, I explored the file names. All the normal files were there, like C Falcon, Falco, D Kong. Then I came across Hhidaka. I opened the file and noticed his variable number happened to be 1191 21 25 28. I assumed they must have randomly generated the numbers, otherwise it had been 1 to 26. His texture file was located in E drive, Super Smash Bros. Melee, textures, char, model texture, Hhidaka. The contents of the folder were quite disturbing. What I saw was a PNG file of a Japanese girl dressed like a hooker. She had been stabbed and mutilated to the extreme, especially on her stomach, and it was cut clean. It was called Hhidaka.png and was the main model texture. I absolutely couldn't believe my eyes. Why the hell would that be on the disc? I eventually remembered that I bought this used from a flea market and it had no instruction booklet. It was replaced by what I thought might have been cheat codes or a walkthrough written on a sheet of paper. I got out the case and unfolded the cheat codes. Instead of cheats, I saw some Japanese writing. I couldn't translate it at the time, so I went back to the computer. I checked the script and saw that Hhidaka was a hidden character. To unlock him, you had to, from what I understood, KO a purple-colored Peach 4 times in a row without taking damage while playing as Ganondorf. I found it odd, but I ended up doing it. After KOing Peach for the 4th time, it went to the new character screen. Instead of a battle, it showed a video of a Japanese woman who murmured things in Japanese. A knife was in her eye. Because my parents were home, I quickly turned the volume down and waited. I did not dare to look full on, but I did peek every now and then. It went on for 4 minutes until the sound of a gunshot rang out and the woman's head jerked back. And then it cut to black. It displayed 2 things on the screen. Hiroki Hhidaka's taste for blood shall be quenched, and you have gotten the HH trophy. I looked in the trophies, but found there wasn't an actual trophy displayed. The description was still there though, and it said, "Finding this was your mistake." At this point, my GameCube restarted itself and went to the normal Super Smash Bros. Melee menu. There wasn't any music or sound, now that I think about it, but I began a match. I chose the thumbnail list Hiroki Hhidaka and pitted myself against Kirby. Corneria was the stage. Nothing happened for a moment before text popped up on the screen that said, "Finding this was your mistake." My finger immediately went for the power button. I must have pressed reset instead, as the game didn't shut off. I could hear the disc spinning rapidly, as if trying to play Crysis 2 on a laptop. The TV started displaying the same Japanese woman with a knife in her eye, but instead it was a still image. There was a caption that said, "Play as Hhidaka, and this could be you." I later found out the Japanese text on that paper that came in the game's case translated to the exact same words and was even signed by Hhidaka. It turns out, Hhidaka was a Japanese serial killer who was executed on December 25th, 2006. That was the same Christmas I bought the game. Well, this one was pretty short and sweet, but I do have a lot to say about it. So, the story was pretty interesting in the sense that our main character is attempting to do some mods to his game and notices there's an extra file. Now this in of itself does seem a bit possible, but I'm not sure if there's any ways, like some guy from a flea market could just tamper with the game before putting it in. And it certainly wasn't Hhidaka, and I don't want to fall on the whole spiritual possessions thing. We kind of already went over that in the first episode of Haunted Gaming Revisited, where fucking Gunpei Yokoi supposedly kidnaps Pan. But aside from that, the story does seem very technical as well. It has lots of technical feats, like, file lists and all that, and file locations, file names, and .pngs and txts and all that stuff. Some things you would actually know, if you use the computer for any length of time. Well, not any length of time, some of us know things better than others, let's be honest. But other than that, the story was pretty good. I kind of wish it was a little bit longer though, and it didn't really rely on the whole repetition of the phrase, finding this was your mistake. Like, it wasn't overused that much like how some classic creepypastas did back then, but maybe like a little few times less, like maybe just once or something. I don't know. In the end though, what would you rate this, and what would you change to make it better? This is me, Kerlunkus, and if you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe. I'm out.